Greetings, YouTube. I'm a fan of Instagram. I love poking around on that site. I have the app and I look at it 4 or 5 times a day. Always when I'm on my home network, so I'm not actually burning a lot of our internet access. Our allowance. And I usually keep my monthly usage like around a gig because I don't use it for much other than maybe streaming some music and looking up things on Google. But at home, I love looking at Instagram, as does my wife. Two of us, we watching TV and poking at the TV programs, or we've been watching The Tick recently and poking at our phones, looking at Instagram. And the other day, I found somebody had posted a reel, and it was a purity culture thing about a bunch of guys talking to each other about how they don't want a woman that's been with a lot of guys. And I wouldn't watch it but it was actually a clip from that video. Then a feminist pops in there and she just starts ripping them apart about how stupid and misogynistic this is, yada yada yada. It was very well done. But because I do follow quite a few feminists on Instagram. I don't follow dudes that are into purity culture, and if I started getting like occasionally they'll sneak in some like fundamentalist Christian things, and I'm like, nope, don't want that. You can get that out of here. I don't need it. Um, but it got to me thinking about the whole concept of the purity culture and the women are after 25, women are used up, or after 30 they're you can't marry them or something. It's just a bunch of misogynistic bull spoken by guys who have never actually had a real relationship with a woman. Also, a lot of guys who very creepily go after much younger women because they feel that if the younger women are easier to manipulate and to shape into what they want, um, which is also super creepy. Um, but it got me thinking about the purity culture thing, where you see like purity bands, fathers giving their daughters rings that saying, you'll be promising to remain pure until you're married. That's a bunch of bullshit. Controlling somebody else's sex life is just frigging twisted. And of course, along with that comes a lot of sexual repression. People don't understand themselves. They don't understand what they like and what they don't like. It makes relationships miserable when they finally get into them, all because all along the way, when they should have been getting support and information, they're being told, no, bad, sex, evil. Then you got these asses that are telling you things like, women that have 10 lovers are worse than a virgin. Why? Explain to me something. I've never been able to figure this out. A woman has sex, and we'll say she has sex 100 times with 10 different dudes. Okay? And then you walk into the picture. How is that different than if you were the only person in her life and she has sex with you 100 times? Same act. There is no difference. And if you actually think like vaginal muscles will get loose or something, you've never actually been near a vagina, have you? There was a little clip I saw recently, and it was a illustration of the structure of the vagina. It showed the vaginal canal, the urethra, and the clitoris, and they put this up. It was very clinical. I mean, it was nothing lurid. And they're asking people in the street, guys in the street, what's the clit? There's only 3 things. So they have a 33% chance of getting it right, and they didn't. They didn't know where pee comes out or where the clitoris was, and I'm sure they are completely unaware of the fact that the clitoris is actually kind of a wishbone shape that goes around the vaginal lips. It's much larger than just a little bit you can see on top, and it's often hidden by a hood. I bet they wouldn't know that either. So guys that have this kind of BS attitudes about purity culture and about only wanting to date women, and if they have more than what's your body count? If the body count's too high, they want nothing to do with them. It's just so twisted. It makes me nauseous when I see these dudes. I'm like, you are never going to have a healthy relationship because you are so screwed in the head. You need so much information. You need to disengage and break apart so many bizarre concepts you have in your head, and you're not going to put the effort in. So at best, you're going to end up in a dysfunctional relationship for you and your partner, which is just sad. You're never going to have what you want. Your partner's never going to have what they want. Hopefully, they'll be smart enough to leave. Um, but yeah, this whole thing just drives me crazy. I don't get it. Social conservatism is evil. It is a communicable disease. And all of the things I'm talking about are social conservatism. Just because it may be guys, who are very slick, very handsome, very stylish, talking about this on the street doesn't mean it's not social conservatism. If they're saying they want to control the sex lives of women, it's social conservatism right there. It's just in a newer vibe as opposed to the old kinds with the Puritans and their little hats, little buckles in the front and stuff, big scarlet A's. Um, so yeah, so I want to ask, have you encountered this kind of thing? And I know that my demographic is not a lot of women. I actually have to look that up. I know it's a lot of guys. I don't know what the percentage is. I have to go look that up. But if you've experienced this kind of thing, or you have a sibling who's experienced it, or one of your partners has experienced it, whatever, how do you feel about it? What did you do? How did you react? How much damage has it done to you if you're a guy, and how much damage has it done to your life if you're a woman? I'm interested in hearing what the people have to say about this. I also would be interested in hear about how this purity culture vibe has affected folks that are in the non-binary spectrum, don't necessarily identify as a woman or a man, because that's a worldview that I don't have. So I'd like to know. Alrighty, so let's talk about the absolute fucked up world of guys wanting perfect women and the purity culture crap. It's just all one big ball of bullshit.